Richard, after this attack on over the weekend, you were the first person I thought of talking to about it because I have a quote from you back in October. You said Iran's fingerprints are all over the various conflicts in the Middle East. We're using words like unprecedented. We're using phrases like crossing the Rubicon. You said this is something that not a lot of analysts thought we would see. So what do you make of the directness of this attack? Because Iran's not using its proxies here. Iran directly attacked Israel.
They directly attacked Israel, and they didn't do it just with a few drones or maybe even a couple of missiles that would have been provocative in its own right. Talking about 120 ballistic missiles being launched at once towards the state of Israel, flight times of 12 minutes. Following, they had already launched 30 cruise missiles on their way, a couple hundred of drones on their way. This was a massive assault on the state of Israel. They wanted to do a lot of damage. They certainly wanted to test the systems and see what gets through, what doesn't get through, and then adapt for their next assault in the future at some point. But this alone is just an outrageous action. And it just makes you wonder, how is it possible that the Ayatollah in Tehran could skip all the different levels of escalation straight to the top of a direct ballistic missile and cruise missile attack on the state of Israel, believing he wasn't about to suffer a massive military retaliation, that there wouldn't be an attack on his nuclear program in retaliation, that IRGC officials in Iran wouldn't be targeted, that the Supreme Leader himself, that the regime might not be targeted in response, that at the very least there wouldn't be massive economic sanctions pressures coming back from the Biden administration and the rest of the world. Well, he looked at the state of play. He looked at the reality today. 3 years plus of Biden administration appeasement policies. More than 3 years of European appeasement policies. And in that context, along with several weeks now of sustained political warfare against Israel, trying to isolate Israel, pressure Israel to back down, even threatening the cutoff of military assistance to Israel from the United States, Canada actually doing it, the Supreme Leader looks at this dynamic saying, this president is never going to do anything to us. These Europeans are never going to do anything to us. Israel is on its own. They're in the middle of a war in Gaza. They have Hezbollah on its northern front. And the United States is going to pull them back from any retaliation that is meaningful. And so I'm going to test that theory, and I'm going to lob 120 ballistic missiles and see what happens, because I'm betting not much is going to happen. And here we are a few days later, and so far, the Ayatollah is right. And that's a very scary prospect for the future for a country that wants nuclear weapons and is building missiles not to reach Tel Aviv, but to reach Washington, D.C. one day with an intercontinental ballistic missile program. So if you like North Korea, you're going to love this, because it's going to be North Korea on steroids, with a lot of Islamic radicals waiting for the hidden imam to appear before they launch nuclear-tipped ballistic missiles at the continental United States one day. This is absolutely our national interest. They chant death to America, death to Israel, not the other way around. And we better wake up and understand that our policies are allowing this world to get a lot more dangerous.